What does it mean to build an NFT? What does it take and what are the benefits? Welcome to Goats in the Metaverse. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. We're in episode 11, and we are going deep into what does it take to actually create your own NFT collectible. We've got a new project coming onto the scene, NFTerrestrials. We're going to be interviewing the team, going deep into their story and why it may be one of the most interesting drops to come. So stay tuned on Goats in the Metaverse, the only weekly show that goes deep into the world of collectibles and NFTs. Stanley, how's your week been?
My week's been great. It's been a quiet week in the NFT space, like almost nothing going on. I don't even know. I don't even know what we're going to talk about today.
Nah, I struggled to figure out the 300 things that we need to cover in this one show. That's just happened in the last week.
Well, two things. One, even before we went live, we had people saying, let's go, we're ready. So I know our audience is excited. Hello to you all. Before we do anything else, we do need to check in on the Goat Vault because we had some very, very exciting things happen there. Let's check out the Goat Vault. Whoa! $15,708. That is a few pesos there, my friend.
That's a number of what did we invest? $2,660 to date. That's gone into the Goat Vault. And we're sitting on $15,708. That's a pretty good return by my calculations. How do we get there?
We actually made some moves. We actually sold two of our pudgy penguins.
I was sad.
Some people might be sad. I know you were sad. But I believe we sold them for over 2 ETH each. One was 2.5. The other one was 2.7. And the floor right now is at a 1.6. So one might say we made a really big power move.
We did.
I think we did make a big power move. But just so everybody understands, all the ETH profit that we made off these penguins are going right back into the vault to buy more and more NFTs. Maybe even give away a few ETH. Maybe we should do something like that. Who knows?
You crazy, Stanley. You crazy.
But we do have some new additions. I see some new pretty faces.
I do too.
What do we got over there? Is that a cool cat?
We got a cool cat. That's big news. We've got some exciting announcements from the cool cat community that we're going to go into. So the fact that we managed to bring one into the vault, and just a reminder for those of you that are new, what is the Goat Vault? It's an opportunity for you as our subscribers, loyal fans, to win NFTs by watching the show. We are taking our own money, my money, Stanley's money, $10,000, and we're using that to buy up NFTs that we think are interesting, trade them on the show, and then when we hit 5,000 subscribers, share in the spoils with our loyal base. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this with your friends. We need to get to 5,000 subscribers to open up the vault. And as you just heard, it's already sitting on $15,708 in value, and we just want to give it all away. We think it's going to be worth 10 times that by the time we hit that number. So hit subscribe now.
This man knows what he's talking about. Hit the subscribe button. That's US dollars for some of you asking that question. Yeah, I'm excited. We made some moves. You never know what's going to happen on the show. You never know what's going to happen in the Goat Vault. You never know what's going to happen in the market. Let's talk about the market. What's been up for the last 7 days? There's been some ups. There's been some downs. What's happening? Talk to me.
Well, we've seen a lot of activity happening in a couple of new projects. Parallels NFT has almost come out of nowhere. And we think another fund has gone into buying up the floor prices. We saw 3 Arrow Capital doing that in the past, buying up the Punks floor prices. And now we are seeing another fund going into another community. And this is called floor sweeping. So they're sweeping the floor. And a lot of communities are starting to go into that type of acquisition strategies, just buying up the floor prices of communities that they're bullish on, that they think there's going to be great activity. So Parallels is one of the big movers. We've seen that Art Blocks continues to dominate and rise, and continuing to just go up. I think a squiggle sold, the squiggle chromie. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a big number, something like 200 ETH worth on one squiggle chromie. So generative art still seeming to be the flavor of the week.
Yeah, and the conversations I'm having is the PHP projects are going down and our projects are continuing to go up, which for some of the people that have been heavily investing into our projects, we know they have smiles on their faces. We still see that Pudgy Penguins is number 4, ahead of CryptoPunks and ahead of Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think that is a very, very big move. I know there's been some controversy. Some people don't believe in the project. Some people do believe in the project. It got picked up by the New York Times. I mean, that project literally blew up overnight. And that's the thing about this world. You never know, right? Literally, you could wake up in the morning and you bought something for 0.03, and all of a sudden it's worth, half an Ethereum, then 1 Ethereum. I'm going to tell you guys a crazy stories.
Tell us, Stanley.
I personally owned 15 Pudgy Penguins. 15. I did sell them. Some might say I sold them early. If I would have held on to them, my $1,000 investment and cashed out at the top, it would have been worth about $255,000, which is a ludicrous number. But you know what? I still made a few dollars on the project. I booked a win, and I'm happy. And this is a lesson for all you NFTers, all you collectors. You can never time the market. So as long as you can book a W, put a smile on your face, and keep it moving, and put it into the next project, because you never know what you're gonna do, right? You might have taken those wins from that project and bought a cool cat or World of Woman, and that might be the next project to pop. And my investment continues to make.
And let me ask you a strategy, Stanley. Why don't you keep 2 or 3? Why sell all? Just out of interest.
Honestly, we sold really early. Didn't really believe in the project as much. We held one rare one and threw it up there for a fuck you number, and somebody paid it.
Okay, well, there we go.
Which could have, it still sold.
Could have gone either way.
Right. It still sold 2 weeks too early, right? We still sold it, but you can't time the market, right? And that's where you book a win, you take a few dollars off the table, and you continue to look for other opportunities.
You can't time the market. One indicator that I like to use, it's not an exact science, so use at your own risk, is looking at the punk floor price. That is a general, in my opinion, lagging or leading indicator of what the rest of the market's going to do. So if you see the punk floor price starting to climb, you know that eventually that's going to go into other projects, and you're going to see those floor prices starting to climb. If you see it starting to drop, it's going to trickle down into the majority of the rest of the market. There might be some exceptions. There might be something else that gets some kind of partnership or narrative or something that goes on that bumps up that part of the market. But that's generally the trend that I'm seeing. So I like to use that every morning to see it as an indicator of where do I think the market's going to go, based on the enthusiasm around punks and everything that's happening there. What else has happened in this crazy week?
Lots of drama and beef with Pranksy and Beanie. I feel it's like 2 high school girls getting into a fight in the cafeteria. But Twitter was all over it. They were going back and forth, and they were exposing DMs. And I was just sitting there with popcorn. I was like, this is good. This is good. This is good. But I did see that once the drama happened, Punk's comics, the price did go down a little bit. So I guess it did affect the brand. What are your thoughts on this drama?
Yeah, well, we have our fearless influencers that unfortunately have been self-elected by their performance. Beanie and Pranksy in the industry, 2 influential people. Pranksy known for basically seeding the Bored Apes yacht community and creating the frenzy that drove that entire community up. And Beanie famous for Punk's comics. going at each other, primarily driven by Beanie. And a lot of people responding negatively towards Beanie and saying that they're going to sell their Punks comics, they're going to remove themselves out of his community because of that. So, the influencers that are behind these projects do have the ability to move markets, to be influential on the pricing of them. And everything's still pretty small. It's an indication of the nascency of this market, but you've got one or two people, and just their Twitter conversations can have an impact on the price of the tokens that you're holding, of the NFTs that you're holding. So that's one thing to consider. And the other thing to consider is they're both playing a game. They're both playing a game of pumping their own bags and their own reputation. So you don't necessarily need to buy into that drama and always think, well, what's this person trying to do over here? What's their strategy? What's their end game? And Beanie likes drama, likes the attention, likes the traffic that it brings to him and the PR that it brings to him. So that's probably his strategy, is just go where the drama is.
And Beanie and Pranks, if you guys want to come on the show and have like a live duel, a rap contest, we're more than welcome. We're open arms. Come on in. We'll come up with some sort of creative contest, like a breakdancing something. But we want to be the ones to host it. So if you guys are listening, or if anybody's watching or listening that's friends with Beanie or Pranks, get them on our show right now. Start tweeting at them. Other news, which I thought was pretty major news, Cool Cats partner up with Time Magazine. That is big move. Pretty big move. Whoa. And listen, there's a lot of Cool Cat fans out there. I happen to be one of them. I know you're a Cool Cat fan as well. And the reasoning is they're cute. They were the first cute project, which on one part of it sounds almost laughable, but obviously Time Magazine thought they were cute enough to create a partnership with them. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I was at a dinner with the CEO of Time Magazine when he was talking about the potential collaboration. So Time has a part of their business, Time Kids, and they were looking for a collaboration where they can bring their audience, the content that they have, it's a global audience, it's multi-language based, to a NFT character that would resonate with children. And Cool Cat stood out for him. And that was the reason that they went for that type of partnership. I think it's very progressive from an organization and institution like Time Magazine. It's a well-known brand. It's partnering with effectively a very new project, and I think it's extremely forward-thinking. So I am bullish on both Time and Cool Cats and what they're doing there. Time have done a number of drops of NFTs themselves. I think they're on Super Rare, where they've taken some of the first Time covers and minted them as an NFT and paired it with that original magazine. And some of those have sold for over $150,000. So really forward-thinking from a media outlet that has been around for as long as I can remember, for as long as Time.
Yeah. Well, kudos to Cool Cats, to Time. Excited to see what comes out of this partnership. We'll keep a close eye. And I don't want to say you heard it here first, but take a deeper look into Cool Cats. Definitely a project to look into.
And now part of our vault.
They're part of our vault, the Goat Vault. One other project that I want to talk about, and there's like some breaking news that probably most people don't know about, is Nouns. Nouns is an interesting project. Yossi's going to share with us what makes it interesting. And then after he shares that, I might drop some breaking news on a bomb. It was a bomb. It was a bomb.
So Nouns is a new project. It's effectively 12 days old. And every day a new noun gets released and auctioned. It's completely decentralized. It's all smart contract based. So this is triggered. It's now going to mint a noun for forever. Different to your traditional 10,000 collectible drop that you've seen so many of in the PFP space. If you think about that, that'll take 27 years for us to get to that 10,000 number, or almost 28 years to get to that 10,000 number. So extremely rare in terms of how many of these are in the market. And what else is unique about them is that there's no rarity in difference of attributes. All of them are equally as rare. The only difference is the serial number. Did you buy noun number 1, number 2, number 3? Is in essence it. And then the design, what the style that you like. And what else makes it interesting is that it's completely released under a Creative Commons license, which means anyone can take any of the nouns and create derivative works. And we're already starting to see people create 3D animations, generative art with nouns. The entire ecosystem around nouns is completely open. And I think that's genius, because that allows anyone to build on top of this, to start building in the narrative of the nouns, and to start contributing more to this community as it builds up. And already starting to see the Discord group growing numbers very, very quickly. And then the last thing that makes nouns extremely interesting is that all the ETH that is contributed in these auctions goes into a DAO that the noun holders vote on. So if you own a noun, you have a vote on what gets done with that Ethereum that is sold. To date on these 12 nouns, there's about 1,400 Ethereum that's already in that vault. Back of the math calculation, that's about $4.2 million. And you, as a noun holder, get to decide how that money gets spent in building the noun community. So any projects that you can think of, any collaborations, anything you want to do with the nouns, you can bring a proposal, and you as a holder are able to vote on it. So I think it's a very clever new mechanism. This could be as big as owning a Disney character if Disney was done in a decentralized, completely on-chain, new way of introducing a character to the world.
So I have a question for you. I'm about to drop this big news. You as a noun holder could technically say they should take a portion of all that ETH and donate it to the Goat Vault. Congratulations on buying a noun, my friend.
I, as a noun holder, could do that. I would be one of 12 people able to make that contribution and that vote. So excited. We bought noun number 9 on, what are we on, 12? So that was 2 days ago. Lucky number 9. Wanted to have a serial number, a mint number that was in the single digits. And we got it for the bargain price of 155 Ethereum. So that's about $480,000 that we spent on this noun, which gives you an indication of how excited and how bullish we are on nouns and the potential that they hold. One other thing that you want to know, well, maybe you're thinking, I don't have that kind of money to drop on a noun. We've seen an integration with PartyDAO and PartyBid. For those of you that don't know what that is, that gives you the ability to collectively bid on a NFT in real time. So you can create a party. Effectively, people can contribute Ethereum and bid on any NFT that you want, and then you own a fraction of that NFT in accordance with how much you bid. So, for example, I put in 0.5 ETH on noun number 11. The party won the auction for noun number 11. It was 122 people who contributed the Ethereum towards it, and I received what's called 500 noun 11 tokens that represents my contribution to buying that noun. So you can put as little as you want to trying to buy a noun or any of these NFTs. So PartyBird, extremely interesting. And we're seeing that happening every day, that now you can own a fraction of a noun if you go onto partybird.app.
And we might have to buy a piece of a noun for the Goat Vault, because
I think we should.
That sounds really fucking cool. Other news in the card world space, which we almost forgot about, what everything is happening in the NFT space. A Honus Wagner card broke the record, $6.6 million. This is officially the most expensive card ever sold. And what makes this card interesting is that it's only graded a number 3. And as you saw some of the past sales of high-end cards, you're talking about PSA 10s, you're talking about PSA 9s. This is a 3. Highest card ever sold, $6.6 million. I am sure this record is not going to stay for long. Congratulations to both the buyer and the seller. This is literally considered the holy grail of sports cards, and there's not that many of them out there. $6.6 million on like a little piece of paper cardboard to drop is a lot of money. But, in the NFT space, it seems cheap.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain. And then there was some other drama in the card world. PWCC is the largest is the largest auction house that sells cards. They actually been selling them on eBay. eBay released a statement saying PWCC has been bidding on their own auctions, which is called shill bidding, and kicked them off the platform, which is very interesting. Which is very interesting. They do about $200 million worth of sales through eBay, so it's a large number. The community responded and said, we don't believe that PWCC would do this. We believe in PWCC, and we believe that PWCC was planning to go off eBay, and eBay wanted to beat them to the punch and kick them off the platform. So
who is spinning who in this equation?
I have no idea. But from the people I spoke to in the industry, everyone still uses PWCC. It's considered the favorite son. They are building their own auction platform. They already have their own auction platform for high-end items that are over $50,000. And now they're going to create their own auction platforms for all collectibles. I believe the number is $2 or $3 billion of collectibles get sold through eBay. 200 million comes from PWCC. It is a pretty large number. So I don't know. I guess we'll never know. PWCC, if you bid on your own auctions, shame on you. eBay, maybe shame on you for calling them out. I don't know. I think it's going to all work itself out, but we got to bring some more drama onto the show. You never know. All right, moving on. We got two guests with us today. I'm excited to talk to them. They are launching their own project. NFTerrestrials is the name. We got Michael and Sean. Let's bring them right onto the show. Michael and Sean, welcome to Goats in the Metaverse, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Living the dream. How about you?
Same. Absolutely. Good to see you in the metaverse.
In the metaverse. I know. We got to put on like 3D glasses or Oculus. We're like too one-dimensional right now.
Yeah, 100%. We should have VR for this next time. The logo actually pops out of the screen when you put the glasses on. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm thinking about it.
We should definitely do that.
And everybody at home, you're gonna just see it live. I'm excited to have you guys on. We got fans saying the boys, let's go. People are excited about the project. Before we dive into the project, I want to know about you guys. Talk to us about how you got into the NFT game, because that's my favorite question to ask everybody that I meet that's in the NFT game. Talk to us.
For sure. So I actually got into the NFT space as a collector long before we were creators. I think we actually connected through the Zed community, which was actually really cool. That was the first time I saw that video on Zed Run, that infamous Zed Run video. I think you all know what I'm talking about. That just kind of dives into it. I was like hooked instantaneously. And I showed it to a couple of my friends who I thought would be interested in maybe participating along with me. We were hooked immediately. So became big Zed collectors. We're buying and selling horses. Just that opened my eyes to the entire community market itself. Started looking at some other really cool projects. The Gutter Cat project, I think, was the second one that we actually got into. We actually just sold that one, our Gutter Cat, sadly enough, a couple weeks ago. It was hard to let it go, but I think it sold for 1.8 ETH, so big W there. Really, really cool. Yeah, and it's been great. Like it took a couple months to kind of get a grasp on it, like to even understand what it was, which projects to collect, what to look into when you're interested. But found Zed, hooked immediately. Still collecting that project along with a number of other ones, and it's been an interesting journey so far.
That's awesome. What do you love about Zed? Because you know we love Zed, so I want to hear from your perspective.
Honestly, the whole racing for Ethereum and cryptocurrency was like, wow, like this is obviously the way of the future. So that was super exciting. And then when we started learning and I started watching videos into, genotypes and the breeds and the fact that you're able to breed, and this was long before I was able to breed any of my horses, but I just thought it was so cool, like the actual utility behind this stuff. You know, it was more than just a piece of art, because I was looking around for a couple months and looking into various artist projects and just didn't know what it was I wanted to collect. And this was the first project that I actually saw some form of utility in. And yeah, it just took the leap into the metaverse and haven't looked back.
And were you previously from a technical background or not? Just give us a little bit of sense of your experience before diving into the world of Zed and NFTs, and then love to learn how the two of you came together in building NFTerrestrials.
Awesome. So I come from a digital marketing and creative background myself. I run a digital marketing agency out of Toronto, Canada. We have clients all over the world, but digital marketing is my core focus, and that varies from influencer marketing, creative work, graphic design, social media, branding, all that sort of stuff. So when I was looking into NFTs and I was kind of looking at the projects that were successful, it kind of rang a bell, because I knew there was a lot more to it than just putting out pieces of art, collectibles. You have to tie it all in together with marketing and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of how I got into it. I've known Mike for years and years. We've worked together through my marketing agency. I'll let Mike speak a little bit more to his background, but yeah, we've been friends for quite some time.
Tell us your story, Mike.
Yeah, well, I've definitely done a bunch of projects with Sean, with his marketing team, and it's been really eye-opening, this whole NFT space. I got into it about not too long ago, actually, because of Sean and a few other friends that are kind of involved in the space. But I've been a developer for a very long time now, maybe 10 years, and I specialize in web development currently on my full-time job. But when Sean came to me with this idea, he kind of had this suggestion where he's like, "Hey, I know that you're working full-time and maybe you don't have time for this or whatnot." And he explained to me the idea of NFTerrestrials, or not specifically NFTerrestrials, but just NFT in general. And I told him, I said, yeah, I could definitely make a program that can build and generate random images and put them together. I said, no problem. So I started just hacking away a script in Python, and I came to this euphoric, I guess, feeling where I was like, you know what, I can definitely accomplish this project. We can get something really cool going. So it started off something where it was an idea. Sean and I always like to just bounce ideas off each other. Even if we're not chasing a specific goal or a specific prize, it's more about just learning. And that's what I think the NFT space is right now for us. And we're constantly learning. And, we do have a successful project out right now. And, I speak towards the development, but maybe after we get into the nitty gritty of a few more things. So.
Yeah, the NFT community is all about learning. That's why we have this show, and learning is core to everyone. It's so new that everyone is figuring it out as we go along. So tell us about NFTerrestrials. What is it, and why should everyone be excited about it?
Awesome. So the NFTerrestrials, they're 500 unique collectibles. They were generated using pixel art, and we've been big fans of. Yeah, there you go. So obviously alien themed. We love the whole UFO theme, big fans. So we thought this would be a great, fun project to get into. Like Mike said, we're bouncing ideas constantly back and forth. We thought this would be a great avenue to go. People seem to love it right now. We've gotten nothing but great feedback. So basically we came up with a concept, this really fun story. Basically, if you're in the Discord, you'll know, but what happened is there's an intergalactic federation right now that most of you probably don't know about, and thousands of years ago, rivals inside the supercarrier teleported them all across the metaverse, and right now the supercarrier is flying through the galaxies, trying to discover them one by one, and these discoveries are happening usually every couple weeks as for a specific drop. So we did our first drop a couple weeks ago for Alpha Search and Rescue, and we're extremely pleased to see that sell out right away. and we've done a few more since then and had some great success. But it's a fun story. We are slowly revealing the storyline week by week through video on our social channels and Discord. So we can't give too much away, but excuse me, that's where we are right now in the story. Currently, we're looking for lost terrestrials. There's a big crash landing last week in one of the galaxies, and we had to call for backup. So we have some backup crafts that's arrived, and we've continued the journey on. And we're about to hit the 20% first milestone right now on the roadmap, which we're really, really excited about.
Were any terrestrials hurt in the crash?
We're gonna have to find out. So throughout our journey, we actually put out videos and interact with our community on a daily basis, and it's almost like we're telling the story as they're being found, and it's just really engaging on top of just the creativity of the project. So it's kind of, it's not just like another NFT project, but it's something like of a community, and that's what where our project kind of is thriving. And you can check out all the storyline on our socials, and very soon on the site we're going to have a story, like a full story where you can actually follow from the beginning of the project to all the way to when we get to the end eventually. So we're really excited to have some of that being launched out soon. So I think Sean mentioned we're at 20% of our roadmap. So there's a lot of exciting stuff to come.
And now you launched with 500 collectibles to start off with. We've seen a lot of 10,000 PFP drops. 500 is a small number. What made you decide on that kind of approach?
That's a good question. I mean, being so new to the space, we wanted to, get our foot in the door, take that leap, launch a project. We didn't want to put out 10,000 and ultimately not have the community ready yet. So we thought 500 would be a great number to start. We think first of all, this is just season one. So there's 500 in season one. There will be some more rolled out into season two, but we just wanted to do it a little bit different. We thought they'd have a little bit more uniqueness, just being such a small collection, keep the community nice and tight, and basically we want to be able to interact with everybody in the community, and that was really important for us because ultimately they're helping us build the project and tell the story. We have certain sections in our Discord right now where we're actually taking suggestions, and they're helping us develop future weapons that our terrestrials will have and that sort of stuff. So we just wanted to be able to make sure that we could be, really engaged with this community and interact with everybody.
Kudos to you guys. I think it's a really smart approach and completely different than what most of the other people are doing. And as we talk about on the show on a weekly basis, community, right? You guys keep coming back to community and you keep coming back to story. And it looks like from what I'm hearing, the story is not developed. It's going to continue to change or continue to evolve, continue to develop as you guys build out this whole project. But how important is the community? Well, how's it? Obviously, it's important to you guys, but what does community mean to the NFT space in general?
I think the community, honestly, is everything. Like you were saying before, like the power of influencers in the space is unbelievable. So just having people in one centralized location talking about the project, hyping it up, talking about the pieces that they just collected, being able to trade and buy and sell and ultimately just tell the story together, because a lot of the projects, there's basically a paragraph that kind of explains and summarizes the project in one. But if you're in a number of the Discords, you'll see they allow for the community to help tell the story, to introduce their characters, to be creative themselves. So I think it's super important, and that's kind of why we've left the story open-ended, because Mike and I obviously have an idea as to where we think this will go, but we're getting feedback from the community, and they're saying, this would be super cool if you did this and super cool if you did that. So without them, it would just be Mike and myself's project, but it's so much more fun when there's a number of people involved, and I think that's what makes it really, really unique.
And does an NFT like sell for the same price in every drop?
So we offered our first 25. Our first drop was just 25, and those are the founders of our project. So those were offered at a lower rate at what they are available at now. We're not increasing them by too much. But every drop is slowly increasing as the demand increases as well. So the first 25 was actually really cool. Anybody that bought NFTerrestrial 1 through 25 is part of the founding council on board the super carrier, and they actually have voting rights and will help us vote in the council, which is currently being structured inside the super carrier. And at one stage during our roadmap, we're going to be doing an actual intergalactic federation meeting where we kind of shape the course of this project, and we're going to do something really, really cool. We haven't announced anything yet, but we'll make sure you guys are the first to know. And then there's a third tier to that, which is our high council, and those will be elected in by the council members, which will ultimately have the majority say in the project's direction. So that's where we're at. Yeah,
I love that.
That's pretty cool. That's freaking cool. I want to be part of the council.
Yeah, and I want to wear a crown or like an alien spacesuit or something.
You got it.
I'm just checking. I'm just seeing myself as part of the Jedi's in the council. You know, bringing wisdom and speaking like Yoda on every vote that we make.
I literally feel like we're like 6 years old and we're like in our parents' basement and like we're playing dress up and I have like a sword. Like we're just like making
Totally.
shit up as we go, and everyone's like, "That's so cool." I mean, and it's great, right? Like what you're saying is, you know, there's strategy behind it, there's creative behind it, there's a story behind it, there's a thought process behind it. But like you said, right, you're getting your community involved because they might be the ones that come up with a better idea of how to kind of guide you guys through this journey or guide the project through this journey. And like going back to real life, how cool is that, right? Like how many times have you watched a movie and you're like, oh, this is really good, and then the end is awful, and you're like, oh my God, like that was the worst ending
All
ever.
the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Like, having the audience vote on the ending, or this in your case, kind of almost the entire roadmap, is genius.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like you said too, it's fun to be able to be creative and, you know, like explore that side of, you know, your imagination where, you know, it didn't really, there wasn't an avenue for this, I felt, in my opinion, you know, last year, a couple of years ago, even, that I was aware of. So this has been great for me. Mike is super creative too, and it's just been so much fun.
This is probably the most fun I've ever had programming since like ever. So just being able to put art together, that's kind of my favorite thing to do. Doing it on a computer is even better. So putting in the hours feels more like just a fun hobby that I get to do with friends and enjoy with some people online. And, you know, circling back to the community, you know, I'm in front of my computer probably 23 hours of the day, and I'm online on Discord those hours, and there's people that I'm speaking to that I've never met before, and it's a good sense of like community. It's a good feeling to have, you know, people join this group, and it's a nice thing that people can like look forward to. And it's like a lot of people may not have that sense where they're coming from, especially during the COVID times, and it could be encouraging that sort of this movement. And I think that the movement's here to stay.
Let's hope maybe, for all of our sake.
Well, I mean, for sure. But in terms of staying the same, I don't think so. I think it's definitely going to change. Now, the direction at which it changes is going to depend on how flexible these NFT companies are going to be able to, you know, move with the market. So staying on top of the technology is probably very important, and you know, just making sure that you're engaging with the community and letting them know what your plan is, instead of just keeping, you know, stuff under the radar. That's why we come on the shows. That's why we like to give out all the information that we have with our projects, and, you know, let everybody know, and this way they can give us feedback based off of what we say as well.
So, Michael, we've got a question from one of our viewers, Eric, asking about what resources you had to use to learn about smart contracts and what was needed to launch successfully. You went from being a traditional developer into now minting your first NFT project. Maybe you can talk us through some of the learning and tools that you had to use for our developers that are listening and they were thinking about maybe going into the world of minting their first NFT?
Okay, well, strap in. It's quite the path that you have to take. I'm going to explain a simple version that I would suggest you start with. This way, when I speak, take it not like, take it with a grain of salt and kind of do your own research, because there's a lot to learn. I wouldn't be able to explain it in an hour of just speaking. So
I see a master class in your future.
I should put together something. I put on Udemy, put a course up. People can purchase it. Well, just for people who aren't in developing space, I'm going to do like a high level kind of conversation. So to start, you first need to, I would suggest getting a designer and building out your assets. So whether or not you want to build penguins, you want to build aliens, you want to build apes, whatever the case may be, you need to get attributes, and those attributes need to be on layers. Okay, so if you're going to build a terrestrial, you require certain steps. So there's a background, there's an alien, there's a like a eye cover, there's a back. So there's certain ways to structure each image. So once you have your assets laid out, you can build a Python script that basically generates from a JSON string, and the JSON string basically has all of your attributes, and each attribute has a rarity associated with it. So when your Python script runs, you're going to grab a random value from this JSON string, put it on a master image, grab another attribute from a random attribute from another JSON string, put it to the master image, and so forth. So eventually you get to a point on the first iteration, you gain a random generated alien. So while you're generating these aliens, you're actually also grabbing the information that you took from those files and building a what it's called is a metadata standard token URI, which is basically it's just a JSON string that has it's in a certain format that a smart contract can read on the blockchain. So basically, you would build out the alien, you build out the metadata, and now you have a list of aliens and metadata that's associated with the aliens. And then what you would want to do at this point is you could do a lot of different things. So I'm only explaining one path here. So in my situation, we like to generate the images prior to minting, because what happens if something goes wrong terribly and someone mints something and that item gets on the blockchain and it's never going to go away, and this person now owns that item, and your project may lose like it might lose credibility. So for my case, I like to have all my images generated, put them in an immutable database like IPFS. Is a great immutable database that just a lot of people are using, or Arweave. And at that point, when someone goes to your site and clicks on mint, then you can go and grab one of those random images, attach their MetaMask wallet to the website, mint it using a Solidity code. So you'd have to look up how to use Solidity, look how to write a smart contract in Solidity. It's a new programming language to write smart contracts to the blockchain. So this is something that I'm currently learning as well. So there's great resources out there. I can send links, like just reach out to me on Discord. I'm more than happy to share all this information with you. I can write it out a little better instead of just rambling it, because I don't know how interested you guys are in this, or Sean, or
sell the masterclass, man. I heard enough. I'm ready to buy. Like I just pre-bought, on Udemy, the masterclass. I think it's very, very interesting. But did you learn how to actually build out the smart contract, or did you guys hire somebody to do that part?
Well, currently I'm learning how to do it. But our actual NFTs are like, they're minted through OpenSea. So OpenSea handles the contract. So this was to get the progress running. But we have the metadata and the images. So when we get to a point where we're very satisfied with like our smart contracts, I just run one more script and it basically puts them all into like any token that is out there, right? So most people are wanting it on ERC 721. So
maybe season 2 will be a little bit different than season 1.
That's the plan.
There's countless things you can learn in the space, and it was important for us just to kind of jump into it and learn, as quickly as possible. And what better way to do it than actually put something out there? So, like Mike said, we're learning, and we're looking forward to, maybe changing it up for season 2 and having it be an ERC 721. But it's wild. Like Mike is speaking a foreign language to me right now. He's just listening to this. So.
Well, there's the old adage that building a startup, and effectively what you're doing here by launching a new community, a new collectible, is like building a startup. It's like jumping out of the plane and assembling your parachute on the way down. That's what you're doing here. You're assembling the plane on the way down. You're assembling your parachute on the way down, learning as you go, which massive kudos to you guys. And if I just summarize what I understand, what you're saying, you have the design done first, you get the attributes of how the design of this character is going to be done. You take those different layers of the attributes, you program that into a JSON script that pulls the attribute, pulls a random metadata, links those two things together. Somehow that gets linked into OpenSea in the minting of the NFT, which might be some technical work that people need to figure out, or your own smart contract. And that's how you kind of go about doing your first NFT drop.
You guys should do the masterclass together.
Yeah, we'll do it together. Yeah. That's
sponsored by Goats in the Metaverse.
There's a whole in between, but I mean that's the general idea.
Wonderful.
And once you dive in, I mean it's not as crazy as people think. If you've been developing for a while and you know how to write a Python script, you can probably learn. If you could write some JavaScript, put together a website, you could probably set up a project on your own. I mean, just hire a designer,
or just get a friend like Mike.
Now hire me. I can write some stuff, but not right now. I'm super busy with a lot of projects. So.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
So Mike or Sean, we've got a question from Life of Lord Moore. And first of all, I love the name, Life of Lord Moore. What's your favorite NFTerrestrial you've made? Also, we love your story.
Well, right now, my favorite one that's out I want to say my favorite that's currently out. It's number 96. It got sold instantly when we put it up. I love that guy. I love the Talls species. They're just really cool looking. So I'm sure there's more cool ones to come, but I don't want to give anything away.
What's the insider knowledge that we should have if we're about to go and buy a couple, or if our audience is going to go and buy a few of these NFTerrestrials? What should they be looking for? What kind of traits? What kind of attributes? What do you think are the ones that are going to be rarer over time and more valuable if someone was to go out and start buying them now? And we'll put you on mute so we can hear, and then we'll let everyone else hear.
Wait, let's stop the show. Let's stop the show.
Mike put together a really, really cool website that actually lists all the NFTerrestrials that have been released so far and all the available attributes and items that are associated with them. So without giving too much away, you can actually see which ones have rarer properties than the other. It's been noted pretty quickly that all gold items are the most rare, as there are the least amount available. So yeah, my favorite terrestrials are usually the ones with some really cool gold items out there. But yeah, exactly. It's all broken down. They all have properties with percentages of rarity attached to them. So it would require a little bit of digging, but honestly, they're all generated unique and they're all super cool. And some people are collecting because they like a certain color. Some are collecting them because they have certain attributes that they are relating to. And there's also, we can't, they're not male or female, but there's two genders. There's gender X and Y. We haven't really talked about it, but somewhere in our roadmap, you will be able to breed them if you hold a gender of each. So really, really exciting stuff. And yeah.
Is that breaking news? Is that breaking news that you didn't talk about? And now the whole metaverse knows?
It's not, but I guess breaking news would be something we haven't talked about. Will be probably led into season 2, but
there's some really cool stuff to come. We have some plans, and we want to hit our roadmap goals, and before we can start, spewing out this information. But everything on the roadmap, we're definitely going to abide by. That includes like obviously the giveaways and hitting rarity tools when we get to, I think that's at 60%. We want to get on rarity tools. As soon as you get on rarity tools, we're hoping that an explosion of sales will happen. Everyone that's a founder will have, I hope multiple amounts at that time and can make some money, trade around. Like we're hoping we're going to hit those goals pretty quick. And then we can finally move into season 2, which is going to have some new stuff. Okay. I've been given word that I'm allowed to.
This just in.
We may be making a teaser game just for with this. It's going to be based off of season 1, and it's going to be, so not to give too much away.
Come on, we want it all. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, it's going to be really cool. But right now, we want to focus on just hitting our goals. That might be something added, but it's not going to be as good as season 2's potential game, where we're going to have more information, more attributes associated with users. So
you're releasing a shit game. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. It's going to be tied to the story, and I think it's going to be. It's not so much. It's more of like an arcade style, just to get people kind of like amped up about it. I mean, this is going to happen really quick. So by the time we get to 500 sold or the end of our roadmap, we're going to be already thinking about season 2. We're going to have stuff in mind. We're going to have some way cooler things down the road. So we're right now, we don't want to like just go all out. Like a lot of projects have been just throwing everything out there, and then maybe they have some bad profits or whatever because people are purchasing like maybe all of them or none of them, and it kind of reduces the it kind of dilutes the community. So we're just trying to take our time and really do everything correctly as we learn together. So
love it. We love it. We love that.
Two things I heard. One is that you guys are going to introduce breeding, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
2, that you are going to gamify it, and there's going to be some sort of game component to it, which I think is fucking genius. And I got to give you guys a lot of kudos for being careful and planning and taking your time. Whereas we see literally projects come up in 24, 48 hours. People throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly.
Sometimes it actually sticks. But the fact that you guys are really taking your time with this, you're planning, you're listening to community, you're building the story is changing. And to me, as a collector, as an investor, like that speaks volume to me, right? That says to me that these guys are in it for the long term, and there's something here. There's something a lot deeper here, and that's the type of project that I would want to personally invest into, continue following. And
how do we get an NFTerrestrial in the vault? I think that's what we need to do. We got to give our viewers a chance to win them. Where do we buy them? How do we get them?
What are we gonna do? Who do we gotta
That sounds great. We should definitely do something fun like that. We'll talk after about it, but yeah, we'd love to lock one of these terrestrials up in that vault with those goats and cats and all that stuff. Yeah. Hey, congratulations on those pudgy penguins, by the way.
Yeah, wow.
That's awesome. I was watching your last live, and I think you said you sold one for 8. Was it 8 ETH? The first one?
I sold a pudgy penguin for 20 ETH.
Oh,
boom!
Yeah. Okay. I was a little off. Just a few bucks off, eh?
I don't even think it was 20. No, I think I made a mistake. No, I think it was 10 ETH. Sorry, I apologize. It was 10 ETH.
10 ETH, 20 ETH.
I think I was imagining that it's worth 20 ETH, but that's what I think it is. Sorry, I'm a little.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, look,
sure.
I think that's what makes this world interesting, right? All of it, all everything that you're hearing the wins, you're hearing 0.03 to 10 ETH, you're hearing Yossi and his team buying now, you hear you guys saying, hey, we're gonna build our own NFT, but we're doing it in a way that's thoughtful, that has strategy behind it, that's including the community, that there's a story behind it. These are things that are like make me want to keep going in this space, right? And kind of tell me that we're just scratching the surface here.
I think so.
And I think guys like you, right, that maybe not a lot of people know about, because let's be honest, your project is rather small compared to some of these other big heavy hitters, but we got the insight. Like you guys are the guys that you got to follow, because you're actually doing this the right way.
Oh, small may be the wrong word. New is a word that I would use.
Correct.
So you're new to the community. You're building it up. I love that. I love the focus. I love the story, and hopefully we'll be seeing that NFTerrestrials will be on our Crypto Slam market countdown on the top movers for the week. So we will continue to monitor it. Michael, Sean, really pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us, and we're big fans, and look forward to seeing where NFTerrestrials go from here, and hopefully having some in our vault for our subscribers in time to come.
Yeah. Before we let you guys go, where can people find you? Where can people check you out? Where can they bother you about building a smart contract?
Discord. Discord is probably the best bet. Maybe join our Discord.
Yeah,
or
follow us on social. Instagram has the links to everything. We have a link tree set up in our bio that links you to our OpenSea, which is where you can buy the collection directly. It has a link to our website where you can check out all the rarities and available NFTerrestrials, follow the story, the roadmap. Twitter, we kind of do a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. And follow us on social. And yeah, thanks so much, guys, for having us on.
It was a pleasure, gentlemen. It was a pleasure meeting you. We're going to keep an eye out on you guys, and can't wait to hear where the story unfolds. Thanks again for coming on to Goats in the Metaverse.
Thank you.
Wow, Yossi. I every week we come in and I'm like, how can we have more fun? How can we make this show more interesting? Where else can we go? I mean, here's a prime example of two gentlemen who are doing it the right way.
Making it happen. Just making it happen. They've got an idea, they've got a vision, they've got a story, and they're going for it. And I love it. I love to see that type of creativity and energy going into these types of projects. And we're seeing what it means to build a community, to go and start from day zero. Here's an idea. Let's launch this. Let's build our community. Let's do it slowly. Let's make this sure that we get it right, and be able to take something from concept into creation. And we just maybe everyone thinks everything's an overnight success story, and we're seeing how this needs to build up over time. We'll go back to this episode when NFTerrestrials are going crazy and everyone's like, oh my God, that came out of nowhere. Well, we'll see all the work and effort that had to get it to that point in time. So really super excited to learn more about the project. If you want to check it out, you can go to NFterrestrials.io. Once again, this show is not investment advice. Do your own research. Make sure that you're in the Discord, you're checking out the community, you're messaging the founders in any of these projects before you potentially ape into them or buy into them. We're here to learn just like you are. So we're discovering things as we go along every single week. And
hopefully we could all make a few dollars along the way. And have some fun. I have some fun. That's the most important part. And I see from just our comments today that, they do have some fans. There's people that are, asking the right questions, that are that are part of their community and that tuned into the show to hear them speak. And I love seeing positive comments and people saying, I've been listening since week 1. I feel like we're like veterans right now. One quick tease before we go, and I won't reveal the name, but I did run into a celebrity on Monday at a golf outing who is deep in the NFT space, and he did give me a verbal confirmation that he will be coming onto the show. I won't reveal the name yet because who knows if he'll come on, but we're desperately trying to book him onto the show in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you continue to tune in, follow us on the socials. We will be making an announcement soon about a big name joining the show that I'm excited about. Not that I'm not excited about everybody, but somebody that I've been a big fan for a long time and can't wait to pick his brain about NFTs.
And a reminder to our listeners that the only way to stand a chance to winning that infamous Goat Vault is to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, share the show. The more people we bring in, we got to get to 5,000 subscribers for us to unlock that vault. I think it's going to be over $100,000 when we do that. So lots to be learned and lots to be won. Subscribe, watch our show every week. We love having you on. Thank you for being our listeners and viewers. And Stanley, I hope you have a successful, profitable, fun NFT week. And we'll talk about it next week over here.
Next week, we'll see you then.
And the Metaverse.
Love you all. Thanks, guys, for joining.